Now, Brian Neiman, Brian Wilson, Mary Catherine Ham, today's newsmakers, and you, the Morning Majority. 105.9 FM, AM 630, WMAL.
8:07 on a Tuesday morning here in Washington. Brian Neiman, Brian Wilson, Karen Hanreddy is in for Mary Catherine today. We've got Wolf Blitzer coming up in just a couple of minutes to talk about a preview of tonight's yet another Republican presidential debate. So we'll talk to Wolf Blitzer coming up. Larry Kudlow from CNBC on at 8:36. We'll get his take on the Super Committee. ABC's Jake Tapper is on the line, senior White House correspondent for ABC News. Good morning, Jake.
Good morning to you. How are you guys doing? I'm sorry to miss Mary Catherine, but I'm a big fan of Karen's as well. So I'm
fantastic.
Nice to talk again to her.
Well, Mary Catherine is out to actually, she's done now. She climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. And I know you were in the middle of you disappeared off my TV for a couple of weeks. You were embedded with the Army and medevac units in the middle of nowhere, Afghanistan. How was that time? What'd you learn?
It was very intense. We went to the northernmost forward operating base in Afghanistan, right near the Pakistan border, to embed with the 227 Wolfhound infantry. They are working on a road there and have dedicated their lives. In some cases, it's cost some lives of American service members. And then we also spent some time with a medevac unit in Bagram Airfield. And I don't think I realized that medevacs are unarmed. They fly into these combat zones, sometimes rappelling down on these hoists to help wounded soldiers at great personal risk. And the helicopters do not have any guns at all. So the motto of this crew is unarmed and unafraid.
That's why are they unarmed? Why wouldn't they have some type of defense mechanism? That seems kind of strange to me.
Sometimes they're accompanied by helicopters that do have guns.
Attack helicopters.
This is our Army policy. It's not the policy of every branch of the service, but this is Army policy. They're protected with nothing more than a big red cross on the shell of the helicopter.
And how often are they at work? Are they actually in the field saving people?
It's unbelievable. Constantly. There's a mess hall just a few yards away, but they don't even eat there. They go there, they take takeout. They are constantly in this one hangar. This hangar has been the base for the medevacs since the very beginning of the war. I think this is the 13th group of medevacs that have been there, and they are constantly there. It's where they do everything because the call could come at any time. And the calls are not just wounded U.S. troops or French troops. It could be anybody. It could be Afghan troops, Afghan Border Patrol, a wounded Afghan child. We saw the gamut while we were there. We flew on a number of the missions with them. At one point, the helicopter we were in was fired upon, which is not common, but not all that unusual, given the fact that you're in a war zone. And to see the work they do, we spent some time with this one 4'11" single mom from Ohio who's a medic, who has a son that her parents are taking care of back in Ohio. The dedication and they're so selfless. They don't even think about what they're doing and the danger they're putting themselves in. And quite often, just a few days before we got there, one of their fellow medics was killed trying to rescue someone.
Jake, what was your big takeaway from this experience? Because this is firsthand experience. We know that we're pulling... there's a call to pull troops out of Afghanistan. There's a debate tonight that may be an issue. There's not agreement among all Republicans or even among Democrats. If we were to withdraw from Afghanistan, what do you think would be the repercussion?
Well, obviously, it's not my position to make policy or to give opinions about what should or should not happen. I mean, I think if the
just based on your observation, and I want to protect your own journalistic, integrity, and I'm not asking you to support or oppose. I
hear what you're saying. I mean, I think first of all, there is great concern by the troops that we were embedded with, the 227 Wolfhounds in northeast Afghanistan, that the withdrawal will be just across the board. That it's just going to be okay. We're going to withdraw 50,000 troops, and it's just going to be an across-the-board cut without taking into account some places needing troops more than others. And obviously, Regional Command East and then northeastern Afghanistan is one of the most dangerous and challenging places. It's where the Hindu Kush mountain range is, and there's obviously a very porous border with Pakistan. So there's a lot of concern there. I think one of the things that really struck me was how flip people in Washington, D.C. are when talking about Afghanistan. The numbers of troops are too often just randomly, 20,000 troops, 30,000 troops, 5,000 troops. These are individuals. A lot of them, more than 10 years of work has gone into a lot of these areas. And whether or not you support the goal or whether or not you support specific individual missions, there is a tremendous amount of work that has gone on in certain areas that I think probably requires a more thoughtful conversation than often we get here in this town.
Your entire experience will be chronicled on Nightline on Thanksgiving night, and I think that's really actually a pretty good deal. And I tell you when we're supposed to stop and give thanks, to sort of give thanks for the people who are still out there on the front lines.
Yeah, that's exactly the goal. We wanted to come up with a way to do these stories, and it just seemed appropriate to do it on Thanksgiving at a time when everybody is just relaxing with their families, to honor these service members who are, they're so young in some cases. A lot of them were teenagers when the war began, grade school in some cases, or high school in others. And for us to be able to spend time with our families, we thought it'd be nice to honor them by having a show dedicated to them.
Got about a minute left, and I want to get a quick judgment and read on about the super committee and the failure thereof. Your thoughts?
Congress gets opportunities every now and then to rise, and those who bet on Congress rising to the level of leadership we expect of them are often disappointed. I do think that President Obama thought he could avoid being tarnished with the stink of failure by not being as directly involved with negotiations with the super committee, and I think that worked to a degree, but ultimately he and John Boehner and Harry Reid are still holding the bag for this big failure, because ultimately they're the ones that came up with the plan.
All right. What time is the special on Thanksgiving night on Nightline?
Nightline starts at 11:35 Eastern.
I didn't know they were going to push it up at all. 11:30 Thursday night, Thanksgiving night. All right, Jake. Thanks so much for coming on. We appreciate it.